Thank you. Good evening. Tonight's Committee of Adjustment hearing is being held by video conference and live streaming video on the town's live stream webpage at oakville.ca. This is a hearing to consider applications for minor variance and consents held under the authority of the Planning Act. Please keep in mind the intent of this process is to review the application that is before the committee, listen to the evidence, and then make a decision. This process is not intended to be used to resolve any concerns or disputes that may exist between the town, individuals, or organizations. If a request for a deferral is made and the committee grants such a request, the applicant or authorized agent must contact the Secretary-Treasurer to schedule a new hearing date. In order to conduct an effective and efficient electronic hearing, we have adopted the following process. If you're watching the live stream of this hearing on oakville.ca, and if you wish to speak to an item on the agenda, you can call 905-815-6095. Again, 905-815-6095. The phone number is also posted on your screen below the live stream at oakville.ca. Staff will be standing by to take your call. When you call in, staff will ask your name, item number you wish to address, and your telephone number. Further instructions will be provided for you to call back to join the video conference. When the chair of the committee polls for interested parties, press *6 to unmute yourself. The applicant or agent will be given the opportunity to briefly explain to the committee the basis of the application and answer any questions that may arise. A maximum of 5 minutes will be provided for a presentation. You will need to state your full name and address for the record. Any submissions beyond the 5 minutes will be at the discretion of the committee. All delegations must also state their full name and address for the record. A maximum of 5 minutes will be provided to make your presentation. All remarks and questions are to be directed to the chair. Any submissions beyond the 5 minutes will be at the discretion of the committee. The applicant or agent will then be provided with a further 5 minutes to respond to the comments made by any interested parties and answer any questions from the committee members. If the applicant or agent has any concerns found in the staff report, particularly with any proposed conditions, this is your opportunity to advise us. Matter will then be taken into committee for a decision. This will mark the end of all discussion. Any person desiring a notice of decision for an application must provide a written request, preferably through email, to the Secretary-Treasurer. Written notice of the committee's decision will be mailed not later than 10 days for minor variance and 15 days for consents to the applicant and or agent and to any other person who filed a written request for such notice. The last day to appeal the decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal will be noted on the decision. Only the applicant, specified persons, or public bodies may appeal the committee's decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal. In November of 2022, Bill 23, the More Homes Built Faster Act, amended the Planning Act to remove appeal rights for members of the public. If no appeal is received within the prescribed time frame, the decision of the committee becomes final and binding. The Secretary-Treasurer will then notify the applicant and anyone who received a copy of the decision through written correspondence. People participating in this hearing are to be courteous to and respectful of the members of the committee, town staff, and other people participating in the electronic hearing. Tonight's electronic hearing is being video recorded and available for future viewing at oakville.ca. Thank you. We have regrets tonight from Mr. Hardcastle and Ms. McHale. Committee members, any declarations of pecuniary interest? Okay. I see none. Madam Secretary-Treasurer, do we have any requests for a deferral? Anyone watching who's wishing to defer an application, this is your time to seek that deferral request. Madam Secretary-Treasurer, has anyone called in?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have one hand up, Mr. Rick Leong. I'm just moving him into the meeting.
Good evening, sir. You can unmute yourself.
Is that good? Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members. This is Rick Leong, and the address is 2710 14th Avenue, Markham. And we would like to request a deferral for 248 Jennings Crescent to address the comments from planning staff and also from fire department. I think I've got an email earlier today regarding to some issue with the fire departments or something.
Okay, thank you. Committee members, all those in favor of the deferral? Okay, so that is unanimous. Your application has been deferred. When you're ready to come back, you can contact the Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
We're showing one more hand up, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, what was that?
One more hand up for deferral.
Okay. Let's see, Vivek Gupta, if you could unmute yourself.
Yes. Hi, Chair. This is Vivek Gupta. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm just trying to log into Committee of Adjustment for my presence, and I'm waiting for my opportunity. I'm sorry for disturbing your process. Is it the Committee of Adjustment for Cherry Hill going on right now?
No, that's later on in the agenda. We're just dealing with deferrals right now. Are you seeking a deferral?
No, sir. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, so that item will come up later in the agenda.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, any other requests for deferral?
I'm showing no more hands. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Then we will proceed with the agenda. Application A095-2025 at 166 Dorney Road. Good evening, Ms. Scholes. You appear to be muted still.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Jennifer Scholes, and I'm the applicant representing the homeowner of 166 Dorney Road. The application is to construct a new dwelling with an attached garage and a cabana. 166 Dorney Road is located north of Lakeshore Road East, along Dorney Road within a neighborhood that is characterized as having a mix of 1- and 2-story dwellings, with many of the original homes of the subdivision being replaced by newer 2-story dwellings. The subject property has frontage along the southwest side of the street and is an interior lot with detached dwellings to the northwest and southeast. We're aware that this neighborhood falls within the special policy exception area of the official plan, which reflects the area's large lot character. These lots typically feature mature vegetation. They were also designed to have ample space between dwellings with deep front yard setbacks. The application that we have submitted aims to respect and maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning and urban design documents that work together to guide development of homes in residential neighborhoods in Oakville. The subject property is designated low-density residential special policy area in the official plan, development within stable residential communities. This document is used to direct the design of the new development to ensure the maintenance and protection of the existing neighborhood character in accordance with, sorry, just one second. In accordance with section 11.1.9 of Livable Oakville. It aims to ensure that new development maintains and protects the existing neighborhood character. The built form, including scale, height, massing, architectural character, and materials, is to be compatible with the surrounding neighborhood, the setbacks, orientation, and separation distances. The goal is to minimize impacts on the adjacent properties in relation to grading, drainage, location of service areas, access and circulation, privacy, and microclimatic conditions such as shadowing. Design guidelines for stable residential communities, I'm sure you're aware of those, and the zoning bylaw, which the proposed design has been developed with all of these documents in mind. I won't get into all of the details of what we tried to do before I speak to the two variances that we're requesting. The proposal meets all other zoning bylaw requirements, including coverage, site, front and rear yard setbacks, and building depth and height. We are seeking relief from the bylaw with two variances as follows. The dwelling residential floor area, RFA, to permit an increase in residential floor area from 29% to 32.33% for a total increase of 49.35 square meters. We understand that the purpose of limiting the residential floor area is to prevent a dwelling from having a mass and scale that appears larger than the dwellings in the surrounding neighborhood. We have tried to design the exterior to minimize its impact on adjacent properties. There are only 4 bedrooms on the second floor. This 3.3% increase allows for the homeowners to enjoy a house that suits their needs from a functional perspective. Variance 2, the private garage residential floor area. We're requesting to permit an increase in garage floor area from 56 square meters to 58 square meters for a total increase of 2 square meters. This increase in garage area is internal to the dwelling due to the 3-car tandem parking configuration. It ensures that the garage is not a visually dominant feature of the dwelling, limiting its impact on the streetscape. The facade of the proposed dwelling creates a transition in height toward the adjacent dwellings, which respects the massing and scale of the surrounding context. The homeowner reached out to nearby neighbors to discuss the project and was able to get 2 letters of support from 153 and 174 Dorney Road. One of them was just submitted today, so you don't have it in your package. So in conclusion, Oakville zoning bylaw, its official plan, and the design guidelines help shape the design that we are proposing. It acknowledges that the neighborhood is stable but not static. The new typology is of 2-story dwellings with double garages. We believe this proposal maintains the general intent and purpose of livable Oakville with respect to current urban design and infill design, and it meets the intent of the zoning bylaw. We have support from planning and all other staff. And this design is in our opinion, not excessive, but is rather sensitive to the scale of dwellings in the vicinity. It will serve to contribute to contextually responsive development. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I will note we do have a letter of support from Frank Ma and a request to attend in support from Ron and Susan Dunn. So if anyone does wish to speak to this application, please call in at 905-815-6095. Committee members, do you have any questions for the applicant? I see none. Madam Secretary Treasurer, has anyone called in to speak to this matter?
We've had no calls and no hands up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And in that case, I will close discussion and look for a motion on this matter. Ms. Price.
Taking into consideration my site visit, the submissions of the agent, planning staff, and the letters of support, I agree with the planning staff that the application is minor in nature and is in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The tandem parking configuration, lower eaves, floor area built into the second-story roof lines helps make the proposed development compatible with the streetscape. In conclusion, I believe the 4 tests of the Planning Act have been met and the variances be approved subject to the following conditions. The dwelling be constructed in general accordance with the submitted site plan and elevation drawings dated May 22nd, 2025, and that the approval expires 2 years from the date of the decision if a building permit has not been issued for the proposed construction.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion to approve? I see none. All those in favor? Okay, that is unanimous. Your application has been approved.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
We'll now hear application A096 at 120 Ulster Drive. Anyone wishing to speak to this application, please call 905-815-6095. Good evening, Mr. Castillo.
Good evening, members of the committee, Mr. Chairman. My name is Gerardo Castillo from Keystone Home Designs. I'm here to represent the homeowner for 120 Ulster Drive. We are here today just to seek a minor variance to increase the private garage of a new custom home from 45 square meters allowed to 49.23 meters, but a total of 423 meters extra, which is just a tandem space at the back of the garage used for tools and storage for this it's a very deep lot. If you can look at the site plan that was provided, you can see that this is a long lot that goes from Ulster all the way to the back of that I believe that's school. So it is a long, very big lot, and so they need some tools and things like that for gardening and things like that. So we really believe this is a very minor variance. Again, if you can scroll down to the front elevation or to the 3D renders at the back, you'll see that this is designed in a way that it shows like a 2-car garage, so it does blend with the streetscape. You can even scroll down a little bit more to the 3D renders, so you get a better idea of that one or the next one. So you can see it's just a regular 2-car garage with a small tandem area at the back, so you don't see it from anywhere. So this is a very minor variance in nature, so hopefully this satisfies the committee, and I'm open to any questions or comments.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions for the applicant? Ms. Price?
I noticed that the fire department had some issues with the side yard setback.
Yes.
I believe there's an impediment.
Yes, we got forgot to mention that we got these comments yesterday. For me, it was the first. I never seen these sort of comments from the fire department. Most of the homes that I have designed or that I see in the area, as long as we maintain the minimum setback, in this case 1.2 meters, they're always. I have never seen this comment. If I can show you the site plan provided, on the north side we do have the 1.20 meters all along, and on the opposite side we have even more. We have see here, yeah, like 1.36, some more space. So I believe what they're mentioning is not the setback of the house, it is the setback of the a couple of window wells on the north side. Again, there's a few homes in the brand new homes or relative new. I think it's 133 and 131 new homes that are next to each other. They have, I'm sure, pretty sure they have 1.2 meters setback, and they do have also chimney encroaching and window walls.
So this is very standard. I mean, I'm doing this for a long time and I'd never seen that comment. One thing I know that the fire department, I guess their concern is that the space is tight and then you have a window well, so it might be hard for them to pass through the back. But one of the things that I did discuss with the homeowner, even at the time, was that these window wells would be one of those that will have a grill on top. So you can actually walk through. You get the light, but you're able to bring, your lawnmower and everything to the back. So that was part of the idea even before we got this comment. But again, I can assure you that 95% of the new homes that are designed in the area, people go to the maximum side setback. In this case, 120, and they do have window wells. So this was just a surprise to me yesterday when I got the comment. So not sure if this grill that we're putting on top of the wells could be done as a condition to meet their concerns, but we're open to suggestions as well.
Okay. Because in their comments, they say that the application plans indicate a decrease in the minimum side yard setback below 1.2 meters.
I think what they mean when they said they're talking about the window well, but not the building. The building is at 1.2. It doesn't. If you look at it, on the north side we have 1.2 all along. At the back, actually, we get 1.36, and on the other side we have a lot more space. We have 2 meters, 165, and 162. Even where we have a little bump for encroachment for a fireplace, we have 1.22. So we do have more than enough on the south side. But I believe they might be talking about the north side, the side on the garage. But the building, you can see, is perfectly parallel to the property line, and we have 1.20.
Okay.
But they must be referring to the window wells.
Is there any stairs into the basement?
No.
No, just window wells?
No, if you look at the site plan, and if they can zoom in, you can see it very clear.
I don't have the site plan in front of me, sorry.
It would appear that the comments from fire are a generalized statement that there's an encroachment that could be one of the following. And I read it the same way Mr. Castillo is, that
okay.
It's perhaps relating to the window wells, but maybe for clarity, if I could ask Ms. McKnight, the applicant is complying with the side yard requirements and they're not seeking a variance for oversized window wells. So that's correct, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, so although we have the comments from the fire department, they don't relate to the variances that are being requested.
Yes, through you, Chair, the comment is appreciated and access for safety is a valid concern. However, the setback does comply with the bylaw as of right. And if there are any fire code issues caught at the building permit review stage and changes are required, the applicant may require a CFA in the future.
Thank you. Ms. Price, any further follow-up?
No, that's good. Thank you.
Mr. Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a concern about the garage. I understand what's going on in the side yard, but this is, let me just say it. Usually we don't like two-story windows, particularly along the front. In your window there, I guess my first question is that all glass or the sections, there's two smaller rectangular sections. Is that something other than glass? So it doesn't look like a two-story window, or is it all glass? I guess I'd be obviously asking the agent.
Yeah. You mean in the garage area? Or
No, in the front, between the garage and the entrance, they're two-story.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Window is two-story high. Appears to be two-story high.
Yeah, if they can zoom into the render that the 3D render, that's Oh, yeah, a two-story window that's on the staircase. The staircase at the front of the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the staircase. Yeah.
That's all glass.
Sorry, yeah, all glass. Well, yeah, the bottom, yeah, you have stone, but yeah, from like maybe about a foot and
Oh
a
yeah,
half,
no, I
you
meant
have a
like,
glass.
yeah, obviously it has, yeah, the foundation. Okay, maybe I should turn to our town planner and for her to give me a little education as to why that is, shall we say, acceptable, where we often have an objection to that type of situation. Don't get me wrong, I wonder if it's not acceptable because it's centered in the middle of the house. So I'll give you that. Just maybe if you can add anything more to that to put me a little more comfortable, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Through you, Mr. Chair. After a review of the plan submitted, internal discussions, and a site visit, it was determined that the 4.23 square meter increase in garage floor area met the four tests of the Act. The intent of the provision for an increase in garage floor area is to ensure that the garage does not appear to be a visually dominant feature of the dwelling. So in that, the 3D renderings alongside the elevations really helped with the review of the massing and the scale that proposed. And it is of the opinion of the planning staff that the garage doesn't appear to be a visually dominant feature. Further, the addition is to accommodate a tandem space in the garage, and so this additional space pushes it deeper into the dwelling, but does not expand the visual appearance of the garage. And in addition, in looking at the massing, the applicant did work to break up the massing of the dwelling through the use of varying roof lines, building materials, and heights. So that was not raised as a concern to planning staff in the review of the application.
Okay, so they because they broke it, and yeah, I say I wasn't questioning the garage side. It's just the design, but because they broke up the front facade by different materials and different lines, that the window doesn't appear and add to the vertical aspects of the house.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, that is correct. There are other measures taken to reduce the massing and scale of the dwelling. And although there is a large vertical window at the front of the dwelling, there are other elements that do project out towards the street that do reduce the impact of that feature.
Okay, thank you very much. I was just questioning what is normally a standard element that we don't like, but I do agree that it looks okay in this building. I was just wondering, I appreciate your added comment that mitigate against that second story window. Okay, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dickey. Any further questions for the applicant? I see none. Madam Secretary Treasurer, has anyone called in to speak to this matter?
We've had no calls, but we have one hand up in the audience. One moment. My apologies. It's the agent from the last item. I believe she's left her hand up by mistake.
Okay. Thank you. So with that, we'll close discussion and I'll look for a motion. Mr. Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Based upon my review of the owner's application, site plan, building elevations, my site visit, presentation by the owner's consultant, and the planning staff's report, I'm satisfied that the variance is minor in nature and conforms to the four tests of the Planning Act, and I put forth a motion that the application as applied for be approved subject to the condition that that the dwelling be constructed in general accordance with the submitted site grading and servicing plan dated May 24th, 2025, and the elevations dated December 17th, 2024, and December 20th, 2024, and the approval expires 2 years from the date of the decision if building permit has not been issued for the proposed construction.
Thank you, Mr. Dickey. Any discussion? I see none. All those in favor of the motion to approve? Okay, that is unanimous. Your application has been approved.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Now here, application A097 at 2025 at 2218 Unwin Crescent. We do have an email of opposition from Murray and Ida Palau.
Hi there, Jenny Bogner, agent for the homeowner. So I don't have a presentation, but I have a number of things to say here. As per the application and staff report, we are requesting 3 variances for this property. Variance number 3 is for a gross floor area of 48.39% instead of the required 43%. This is requested to accommodate the construction of a second floor addition over the northeast portion of the existing side split. This growing family is in need of more space, and we agree with staff that this addition does not negatively impact the surrounding homes or the massing of the home from the streetscape. The side split gives various heights, ensuring the home does not feel overwhelming to the neighboring homes. We appreciate staff's consideration and support of this variance. Variance number 1 and 2 are to address existing structures that were in place when my client bought this home in 2023. The previous owner did not disclose the fact that these structures were built without permits. That being said, we are trying to rectify this situation, this existing non-compliance issue now. I feel it's important to note that before submitting a formal application for this minor variance, we did submit for a pre-consultation. During this online meeting, staff gave feedback on our application and noted their support of the gross floor area variance to facilitate the construction of the addition. They also noted these 2 non-compliant accessory structures and strongly recommended that we add them to the application to legalize them. They very confidently said that they could support these 2 variances. I was happy to hear that, so we went ahead and added them to the application. We feel that if staff is going to recommend something such as this and give an opinion on support, then this should be a sentiment shared by all staff, or at the very least shared with all staff members via a report. We were, of course, very stunned and surprised to see that the staff comments for the formal application were not in support of these 2 variances. We feel blindsided and feel that these comments made during the pre-consultation were very misleading. Variance number 1 is to address the existing shed structure that was built up against the existing dwelling and is attached to the home by the roof structure. There are quite a few properties on this street that have this exact same shed on the side of their houses. We understand staff concerns with not being able to access the rear yard, but we do feel this is still an option as there is a door on both the front and rear of the shed, allowing the homeowners to get through as needed. Staff have commented that the possibility of being able to lock these doors poses a safety risk. However, there is a pool on this property, so proper and safe enclosures are necessary. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe the bylaw prohibits someone from locking entries into their yards if they so desire. So we feel there's very little difference between these doors that can lock and a locked gate. Therefore, we don't agree that this is a valid concern. Variance number 2 is to address an existing shed on the easterly side yard that encloses the pool equipment. The exact date at which the pool was installed is unknown to the current homeowner, but some factors seem to indicate it was installed around 2002. It is also unknown to us whether the shed structure was also constructed at that time or done after the pool and equipment was installed. But it is very possible that this 3.41 square meter shed was allowed in this location without needing a permit, as they were working under a different bylaw at that time. That being said, the homeowners wish to work with staff and appease the fire department and provide better access to the rear of the property. They would be willing to remove this shed and relocate the pool equipment ever so slightly, to provide an access route to the easterly interior side yard of the property. We feel this would greatly improve the flow to the side yard and the gate that leads to the front yard on this side. This is the least costly option for the homeowner, as this just requires some minor relocation of the pool equipment. Taking down the westerly shed would require a new fence to enclose the backyard, as well as the construction of a new shed to house all the items they have stored in there currently, such as kids' bikes, lawn equipment, etc. Therefore, we respectfully request the removal of variance number 2, as we will alleviate this non-conforming situation. We feel it still makes sense to move forward with variances number 1 and 3, and we request your thoughtful consideration on these points made. Thank you.
Thank you. So you want to proceed with the application with the removal of the one variance, but not the other one, as opposed to seek a deferral and try to work things out with staff first?
Yeah, I think because it's an existing structure, if it was the proposed addition that, that they were not in support of, I think we could have some wiggle room there, but I'm not quite sure what we can do being an existing structure for that one shed. So I don't know would you guys approve one and not the other? I'm not sure how Oakville necessarily works with that. Is that an option, or is it all or nothing?
Well, I mean, we prefer it to be clean, but the committee at its discretion can choose to proceed with the application as you've requested it to be amended with the removal of the one variance, and then rule on the other 2. They may approve both, may approve one or the other, and at which point, revised drawings would have to be part of any approval condition.
Okay.
An example, if variance number 3 was approved and 1 and 2 weren't, there'd have to be obviously your client would have to remove both the sheds, and there'd have to be a revised site plan provided to the satisfaction of the director of planning.
Okay.
So the
the
committee's preference is always, in a case like this, that you seek a deferral and try to bring back a solution with staff, but it's your prerogative to how you wish to proceed, and the committee will deal with it as they see fit.
Okay. Yeah, let's move forward, please, with both 1 and 3. And if there's some questions that I could answer on those, I would, love to answer some questions or hear some comments. We'll see how that goes.
Okay. So, committee members, you've heard that. The applicants amended the application to remove variance number 2, wishes to proceed with variance 1 and 3. So I will open it up to any questions you have for the applicant. Mr. Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just making sure I haven't made a mistake here. Variance that you're talking about, my recollection when I went to see this is on the south side of the road. So the white shed is on the west side, and that's short of the 0.03 meter side yard setback.
Yes.
What you're willing to eliminate is the other variance on the other side, which is a shed hidden by the fence.
That's correct.
Okay. I didn't like the look, plain and simple, of the shed on the west side. It doesn't look good from the street. The setback is I don't know how many inches that is. I'm obviously old school. I don't think about that, but it's pretty freaking. It's pretty shallow, narrow. So my concern, my point is, my concern is the shed on the west. If you were to reverse that, I might say, okay, I'll give you the shed on the east, but I don't like the shed on the west because it doesn't look in my opinion, it doesn't look good from the street. It doesn't. And I admit I didn't look up and down the street. You suggested there's other sheds in the same situation. I apologize. I didn't look, so I can't address that. If there is other ones on the street, if there is, I might feel the same way with regard to that as I do yours.
Mhm.
So basically, and I'm usually very sticky about side yard setback. In other instances and other meetings, I often come down. I really have to think about side yard setbacks. And to me, this does not look good from the street. Therefore, the neighbors, that's where the concern is. The neighbors, there's obviously a concern how you're going to make repairs or do anything on that wall on the west side when you've only got 0.03 meters of access. So there it is. I want to be upfront with you. I don't like that. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Right.
Yeah, I don't think the homeowner would have chosen to build that structure had they, built it themselves. It's kind of, they're just dealing with what was there, of course, trying to keep it and avoid having to make some costly changes. But yeah, I hear you. Thank you for those comments.
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? I see none. Madam Secretary Treasurer, has anyone called in to speak to this matter?
We've had no calls and no hands showing. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll close the discussion. Committee, you've got an amended variance in front of you for variance 1 and 3 only. You've got a staff report which is recommending approval of variance number 3 only. If the committee's in favor of supporting the application or part of it, in either case, I would suggest you'd need a change in the conditions, that the site plan be revised to the satisfaction of the Director of Planning, just in any case to remove the one shed from that site plan, or if the other variance for the other side yard isn't supported, both sheds would have to be removed. I'll leave that in your hands. Ms. Price?
I would tend to agree with Mr. Dickey. I think the westerly shed is not is not desirable to look at, and I believe that I think the variances 1 and 2 should be denied. Variance number 3 be accepted or approved.
And subject to conditions?
Subject to the conditions. That the addition be constructed in general accordance with the submitted site plan and elevation drawings dated June 2nd, 2025, and that the approval expires 2 years from the date of the decision if a building permit has not been issued for the proposed construction.
Thank you. Ms. Price, would you take a friendly amendment to condition number 1, that the addition be constructed in general accordance with site plan to the satisfaction of the Director, site plan and elevation to the satisfaction of the Director of Planning and Development?
Yes, that's fine with me.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion on that motion to deny variances 1 and 2, approve variance number 3 with the conditions?
Let me clarify.
Mr.
So we're
Dick?
denying the 2 side yard setback variances, and we're okay for the residential floor area.
That is the motion on the table, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Price, did you have another comment?
No.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor of the motion to approve variance 3, deny variances 1 and 2? Okay, that is unanimous. So you've got 1 out of 3.
Thank you.
Okay,
Have a good night.
You too. Now hear application A098 at 214 Cherry Hill Road. Evening again, Mr. Gupta. You're muted, sir. There you
Yes.
go.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening, Chair and members of the committee. I am Vivek Gupta, applicant and agent for application A11. I'm sorry. This is application A098 2025 for 214 Cherry Hill Road. I am the authorized agent from the homeowner. I would like to present my committee of adjustment application, which we require for only 4 variances. The homeowner has purchased this property recently. They're planning to stay here for a longer period of time as their retirement house, and they are planning to keep their parents with them. And they are interested in making an addition to this house and increase some square footages and the looks of the house. In this process, when we are doing the building permit and zoning department identified that we need 4 variances. The variances which is required are no additional parking space for additional residential unit. We are also proposing a legal basement apartment in this residential addition building permit. And we would like to request for waiving out an additional parking requirement which we require for the additional dwelling unit. We have 2 car parkings in the garage, and we have a huge driveway, which also accommodates a lot of cars. That variance is also coming. We also need 3.3 meter setback, which is reduced for garage. And we are making a sunroom and a deck, which also requires minor variance of 3.3 meter setback requirement in flankage yard, 6.54 meter in the front yard. Zoning department has done the test required for the minor variances, and they have found all the tests very satisfactory. Their tests are supporting our application. If committee members requires, I can read the planning department assessment. If it is not required, then I would like to move on with the closing request.
Yes, we have a copy of the staff comments, so no need to read those.
Thank you, Mr. So in the closing of my presentation, I would like to ask any questions, if there is, from any members or neighbors, though the neighborhood has been very supportive and the property owners are very satisfactory and feeling like a resident in the area. So if there is any questions from anyone, from any chair members or city, I'll be happy to answer for that, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. If anyone does wish to speak to this application, please call 905-815-6095. Any questions from the committee members? Mr. Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry, I'm just getting my notes here. Your building, and just correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not quite sure if I just want to make sure. The back part of the house has a 1-story garage. You're going to take that part of the structure, turn it into a 2-story structure, and then build a garage in front of that back portion. Back the north portion. I got that right in my head?
That is absolutely right, sir. The garage is facing Cherry Hill Road. It was facing, the existing garage was also like 2-car garage facing Cherry Hill Road. The new proposed garage is also facing the Cherry Hill Road, except that we have to move it towards the property line in order to increase some area within the house.
Yeah, I realize. I'm concerned. let's just say for now, I'm not overly concerned about the zero parking spaces, but my concern solves that problem. I just concerned about the garage being 3.3 meters from the road allowance, the property line, and being a dominant feature, part of the structure from the flankage. And that's my concern, plain and simple. Can you not, you've already have a garage on the ground floor. Can you not, when you build the new garage, use part of that garage to make your new garage shallower in depth?
We are not getting any area increase in case if we are not moving the garage outside. And right now, our intention is not to actually break any bylaws. The next door neighborhood house is still having his garage a little bit more than us. So we are trying to stay a little bit backwards from the neighbors still.
You're saying the new garage will be further back from the road, the property line than the neighbor to the north?
No. The next neighbor has the similar line of garage line towards the Cherry Hill and almost similar setbacks. Lesser setbacks, like we are requesting for more than them. That's what I mean.
I didn't catch it. Does that show on your survey? I don't see it on your survey, so we're looking at a.
Yeah, it is shown on the survey, sir. Give me a second. Let me bring it up. Even from the Google Maps also, it is easier to make out. The next door neighbor house is quite ahead, but I'll bring up the survey. So here it is.
You won't be able to bring it up, but is the survey in the package you submitted for the presentation? Staff would have to bring that up on the screen.
Okay. Well, I have it open on my computer. No, in my computer, it is open on my screen.
I think, Mr. Dickey, if you look at the location map provided with the application, it does show that the adjacent house on Cherry Hill does appear to be closer to Cherry Hill than the subject house. Very similar.
I see what you're saying.
If I can share a screenshot, I don't know, I can take a screenshot.
You're not able to share the screen, unfortunately.
Okay.
And the house to the north has a driveway facing, to the agent again. The house to the north has a driveway facing Cherry Hill. Their driveway doesn't face Meadowwood?
No, it faces Cherry Hill, sir.
Mr. Dickey, maybe to help with your assessment, even though the technical setback for the garage is 3.3 meters, the setback from the property line to the actual road, so the boulevard looks like 6.5 meters in itself. So the garage is still going to be about 10 meters from the actual street.
Well, I realize that. When I was on the street, I was surprised how far shall we say, the property line is from the road. It seems to be very much further than what we normally see. I don't deny that there's room to park cars there, but we always judge that based upon the property line, not the land that the town owns in the road allowance. Okay, that's all my questions for now. I'm obviously undecided.
Thank you, Ms. Dickey. Any further questions? I see none. Maybe if I could ask staff just to follow up on Mr. Dickey's last comment in terms of judging the parking based on the property line versus the functional parking. It would appear that staff relied on the fact that you can, regardless of it technically being a variance, that you can still park cars in the driveway.
To you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Chair. I have no question about that. When I was there looking at the property, I reached that conclusion. Anyhow, go ahead. I'm sorry, planner.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Yeah, to Mr. Chair, as long there does appear to be room for parking on the driveway, and as long as it does not encroach on town's property, then that is permitted. That would be permitted, and there would be no concerns.
Thank you. Madam Secretary Treasurer, has anyone called in to speak to this matter?
We've had no calls and no hands.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to close discussion on this matter and look for a motion.
Okay, I guess I have to step to the plate.
Go ahead, Mr. Dickey.
Based upon my review of the owner's application, the site plan building elevation, my site visit, together with the presentation by the owner's consultant, and having regard to the planning staff's report, which you'll see that I don't necessarily agree with, I put forth the motion that the application as applied for should be denied. In my opinion, I'm concerned, as I said, I'm concerned about the flankage and the garage, the distance of the garage towards the flankage. I'm not concerned about the front yard or the fact about the zero parking space for the apartment. It's just the distance of the garage to the side yard and the slightly shorter flankage setback. So I put, as I said, I put forth a motion to deny this application.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dickey. Any discussion on the motion to deny? I see none. Sorry, sir. The discussion is closed at this point. We're in the middle of voting. Okay, the motion on the floor is to deny the application. All those in favor? All those opposed? Ms. Price, I didn't see your hand either way. So you're opposed? Okay, I'm also opposed, so that application fails, or the motion fails. Ms. Price, I'm going to turn to you for an alternative motion in this matter.
I'm not sure I can do that. Okay, that the conditions, that the addition and proposed garage be constructed in general accordance. Is this what you mean?
So you voted against the motion to deny, so I'm assuming.
Oh, sorry, I meant the other. I agree with. I think that it should be approved. I'm sorry.
Okay, and subject to
the addition and proposed garage be constructed in general accordance with the submitted site plan and elevation drawings dated April 7th, 2025, and then the owner agrees that they will receive agrees that they will advise potential tenants that there's no additional parking space provided for the additional residential unit, and 3, that the approval expires 2 years from the date of the decision if a building permit has not been issued for the proposed construction.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Price. Mr. Dickey, I'm going to assume you're going to vote against that motion, but all those in favor of the motion to approve? Okay, all those opposed? Thank you. So your application has been approved. Mr. Dickey opposed.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
If there's anyone in the audience that was looking to speak to application A099 at 248 Jennings Crescent, that application was deferred earlier in the evening, so that won't be heard tonight. It'll come back at a later date and notice will be provided. We'll move now to A100 at 93 2nd Street. If anyone wishes to speak to this application, please call 905-815-6095. Good evening, Mr. Temporelli. You are still muted.
The application before you is to replace an existing, what was an existing enclosed carport with a new garage. The garage, as seen in the little photograph that's on the site plan drawing, projected in front of the existing house. And the intent is to replace the garage, the carport, enclosed carport, with a new garage, in keeping with the overall design of the house. It'll be basically in the same location as the existing, what was the existing carport. At this present time, the carport has been removed and the shed in front of the house has been removed in order to start construction process and make the house more visible and available to contractors to understand the amount of work that was necessary to restore this Tudor house.
Thank you, Mr. Temporelli. Sir.
Sorry.
Were you finished?
No, can I go on to the next photo? This is a elevation and perspective of the house showing the new porch and the garage. The front porch is almost out to the same extent as the garage, so that the front of the house is balanced by the garage and the new entrance porch, so that the new garage is integrated into the overall design. And the Tudor approach is taken to the use of the columns and the traditional garage doors to blend it in with the existing house. Next. This is a side view of what the garage would be like against the adjacent property. Next. And that's a perspective of the porch and garage seen in parallel. The intent is to restore the existing house to the Tudor design that it originally was. And we've presented these designs in the past to the adjacent neighbors, and they have been supportive. We're here today because of the one variance that was missed in the original application, which was the projection of the garage. But I believe everyone has been supportive of the garage location and the overall design. I think it is minor in nature and complies with the intent of the official plan, the local bylaws, and the intent of the Heritage District in terms of retaining the historic character of the area. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions for the applicant? Mr. Dickey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to understand, I didn't look back in my notes for August 2024. So at that time, the Committee of Adjustment gave a variance for a 6.8 meters side yard. And was that because there was an existing carport there, which there was, or did I understand you were saying the original plans back then had the garage there, but the variance of the projection was missed at that point in time?
No, the garage was on the side yard was the location of the existing carport enclosed carport. And we asked for that variance and was obtained. What came up when we applied for, not when we applied for demolition for the carport, but when we applied for the construction of the house, the variance in terms of the projection of the house, the projection of the garage in front of the main wall of the house is supposed to be 1.5 meters. But in fact, the existing garage and the new garage is 3.61 meters. So that was the variance that was discovered. Otherwise, the design is exactly as it was shown before, except that the variance on the projection of the garage from the main wall of the house was not picked up until building permit.
Okay, you're saying so nothing changed as far as the design of the house,
No,
basically. And we approved the 6 point, I don't have a problem, just clearing it in my head. We approved the 0.68 meter side yard setback. And now we find out, or, you know, if everybody had realized there was a projection problem, you would have been here. You wouldn't have to go through the process.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, fair enough. I just to clarify how the sequence events came along. Okay, thank you very much.
Any further questions? I see none. Madam Secretary Treasurer, has anyone called in to speak to this item?
We've had no calls and no hands. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just close discussion and look for a motion. Ms. Price.
Okay, taking into consideration my visit the agent's presentation and notes and staff's comments, I believe that the application is minor the variance is minor in nature and is in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and is desirable for the appropriate development. I think the proposed development maintains and protects the character of the existing neighborhood and does not present unacceptable adverse impacts. On the basis of this, I believe the 4 tests have been met and would be subject to the following conditions. Oh, okay, hold on. The garage be constructed in a general accordance with submitted site plan and elevation drawings dated 2024-11-04, and that the approval expires 2 years from the date of the decision if a building permit has not been issued for the proposed construction.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve? That is unanimous. Your application has been approved.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Now here, application A101, 2472 Deer Run Avenue. We do have a letter of opposition from William Stewart and Catherine Swan. If anyone wishes to speak to this matter, please call 905-815-6095. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Henrietta Hiravi. I am the homeowner of 2472 Deer Run Avenue. Me and my husband, Marion, have purchased this property about a year ago to build a 2-story family home. We knew at the time of purchase that this property is quite unique and may present some challenges through the process. The design of the home was intended to meet all established requirements and setbacks and avoid the need for a variance. I would like to show you the site plan so you have a feel and an idea of the shape of the property that we have purchased. Could you please go to slide number 4?
one back, I think.
Actually, this one. Thank you. As you can see, the shape of this property is triangular. It is not the typical shape on the street. We are the only property that has this very unique shape, and we had to pretty much make sure that we can build a family dwelling, and we are asking for a permit to build a pool in the front yard. Given the characteristics of the property being triangular in nature, there was only one suitable location for the house of approximately 2,700 square feet, which is below the average size of homes in the neighborhood. As you see on the site plan presented, all outside activity is situated on the side of the property in the side yard. Rear yard setback is at the minimum, so not much development could be done in that area. Plus, we did not want to remove any additional trees. We have removed a couple of trees in the back, one in front, in the new driveway area. We have tried various potential locations for the new proposed pool, but all of them, to some extent, are encroaching to the front yard area. We respect the bylaws and the stance of the building department. However, given the unique shape of the lot as the last property on that side of the street, we believe this is an exceptional case that warrants special consideration. I would like to present some examples of corner lot homes, which there are many throughout the town, just to kind of illustrate the point that we're trying to make. If you could please go to the next slide. And the next slide. This house on Amber Street is very similar to the situation that we are facing. Basically, it has the front door. Basically, it has the pool in the front yard, just the same as our proposed house. If you go to the next slide, there's various homes throughout Oakville that we drove through and saw many in the same situation where the streetscape shows exactly the same. So many of these houses have pools where the view from the street or from the homes of neighbors across the street is virtually identical to the view in our case. Several of these pictures are near our current home and show properties fenced with either wood or wrought iron fences in combination with planting. All presented homes have pools in the yard. After we've reviewed the comments from town staff, we can propose to easily relocate and add more trees between the pool and the front fence to create more screening and privacy. In addition, we agreed to install the standard 5-foot fence in accordance with the town requirements. We are suggesting to plant 6 to 8 units of the purple beech trees along the pool length of the fence to create additional privacy and screening. These trees are pyramidal in shape and tend to grow up to 30 feet in height. Units used for planting can be 10 to 12 feet in height at the time of planting. To respond to the comments from staff in regards to the setback requirements for the cabana storage and sitting area, the permit was already issued with the dwelling and cabana with approved setback of 0.6 meters. In addition, to respond to the comment of the extension of D Run going to Winston Churchill, we feel that our pool location does not have any negative impact on the future road extension or potential extension and development. The impact on the streetscape is minimal or close to none, since the pool is in ground and will be fully fenced from the street. Please keep in mind that the side yard will still be our primary outdoor area where we conduct all outdoor activities, even without the pool. there was also a letter of opposition that was sent in that we would like to comment on. A neighbor feels that there's a safety concern for young children in the area because they feel that the pool will be in the front yard and will be not fenced or gated, or they are scared that if the gate is left unlocked, as I said, this area will be fully fenced. It will be landscaped to create the privacy and screening. We would like to try to not have any disturbance on the street. We would like to make sure that we are part of the community and the neighborhood, and we don't feel that the install of the pool in that area of the yard has any major impact on the street. We of course want to keep everybody safe, and therefore we would comply with the requirements of a fence and the landscaping, as I said. I guess all we're asking is that you do look at the special circumstances of this very unique property. It is unlike any other on the street, and it does require a little more attention, I feel. So we do appreciate your time to have a look and consider. There's a few more pictures of the houses that I'd like to share. So if you could go to the next slide. This is just the fencing on Diane. Here we just want to illustrate that, over time the planting and the trees will overgrow and make it feel like, we are part of that street, and we would like to have the screening and the privacy. Next slide, please. This house on Elton Park, again, the pool is right behind that fence. It is right to the side of the house. From the street, it looks exactly the same as what we are proposing. It should not have any impact on our neighbors on the street. And if you could show the next slide, please. Same here on Chartwell. This house has the exact same situation. And the next slide. This is just down the street from where we are currently living. You can see in this picture that the pool is literally in front of the house, situated in front of the house, which is the exact situation that we are proposing. Again, I don't think it's any disruption to the neighborhood or to the neighbors or the streetscape. So once again, please consider our application. We are a 4-member family. We do have children as well. And we do understand the safety concerns, and we would not obviously put anybody at risk. And I think that's all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions for the applicant? Mr. Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay. Could you tell me again why you couldn't put swimming pool closer to, I guess that would be the rear lot line, most southerly lot line, where the cabanas are proposed to be?
So just to make the best, I guess the best option would be to make the best use of the space. We thought it would be more beneficial or favorable for our backyard to have it placed in that area. And also the cabana has to be located where you see it on the site plan right now. It cannot be on the street side. So there's that restriction of the cabana location.
The same as the pool. If you were to put the pool back where the cabanas are, you put the cabanas where the pool is, you'd be coming to, I agree, you'd be coming to us, I'm assuming for a variance front yard setback, but you wouldn't be, your pool wouldn't be in the front yard. Your pool would be in the side, your pool would be in the side yard. Like some of what some of those examples you brought. Others I admit are right in the front yard, but the others look like they're set back from the road and are in the side yard. But let's not dwell on that. Just the aspect of pool in the front yard versus cabanas in the front. It just, you've got a proposed covered pad.
So I guess the location of the cabana is, the space, I don't want to say the space is limited, but the allowable area where we can locate the cabana and the pool is limited. So it's either the cabana, which cannot be located close to the fence or closer to the street. So we thought that this would be the better option. I think the impact of this on the streetscape, having a cabana at the front would be greater than having a pool that is not visible from the street. And that is why we think that the location of the pool is better at the front rather than the cabana.
Okay. Okay, just another question, and either to the town planner or yourself, if you know. Let's say, what's the future of this street? There was a road that used to connect Deer Run to Winston Churchill that has been closed now for a number of years. I'm assuming that isn't it's not possible or expected that road's going to be built and opened. So your property would remain to be at the end of a dead-end street. Maybe the planner could give me a little bit of an update on that, or the fact that Deer Run could go to the southeast into what is currently some type of agricultural property there.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, to Member Dickey, that's correct. As outlined in the staff report, there's a snapshot of the subject lands within the registered plan of subdivision, and the lands that you had mentioned with the agricultural operation to the east, which is adjacent to Winston Churchill Boulevard, is designated low density residential. So at some point in the future, the vision of the official plan is for those lands to be developed with residential land uses as part of a subdivision. Unfortunately, we do not have an application at this time to review to identify where the extension of Deer Run would go. But that is the hope and intention for Deer Run to connect to Winston Churchill Boulevard. The existing road connection that's there right now is just for emergency vehicles. So it's blocked off at the end of Deer Run and then at the start of Winston Churchill. But again, the reason that these lands were frozen at the time was that the zoning bylaw that was in place, which would have been the 1984 bylaw, I believe, this lot wasn't a buildable lot. So with the introduction of the 2014 bylaw, this lot was released from the subdivision requirements, and that's why the owner was able to build a house. But again, as outlined in the staff report, the intention is for Deer Run to connect to Winston Churchill Boulevard.
Thank you.
Yes, hi, Ray. It appears to me that you're trying to overbuild on this lot. And I guess similar to Mr. Dickey's questioning, did you look at locating the pool where the cabana is and a smaller cabana and covered porch stacked one behind each other, abutting or attached to the house as an option to avoid this problem or this variance that you require?
I believe it would encroach. It may encroach into the front yard. I don't have the knowledge about the location. Would you mind if my husband could speak on my behalf to answer your question?
Certainly.
Hi, my name is Marian Hiravi. How are you? Well, we entertain that idea, right? But the pool would have to be quite in the back, right? There is the tree. Its load is quite treated on the south side towards the lake, right? So the several trees would have to be removed, and we've tried several positions, right? So the pool itself, you're correct. We will be able to build without committee adjustment, in a proper area, but none of the other buildings, we wouldn't have any room for the other buildings. So the intention, as my wife said initially, we thought encroachment or impact on the streetscape would be much greater to try to push those buildings to the front, right? Like there is not even question about that. Right? We never even we consider it, but clearly we thought this is the better option. When we make it at the time of making decisions, right?
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for the applicants? I see none. Madam Secretary Treasurer, has anyone called in to speak to this matter?
We've had no calls and no hands showing.
Okay, thank you. And just I'll give the applicant one last chance if she wants to make any final comments before I close discussion.
No comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll close discussion on this matter and look for a motion. Ms. Price.
I vote on the opinion that I think the property is going to be overbuilt. I think there's too many structures on the building. I would suggest that the pool be moved back and maybe the other structures be made smaller. For this reason, I'm going to deny the application.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to deny the application. Any discussion on the motion? I see none. All those in favor of the motion to deny? Okay, that is unanimous. Unfortunately, your application has been denied. It appears to the committee that you're trying to, although a unique property, you're trying to overbuild it. We'll now move on to application A102 at 2449 Meadowwood Crescent. If anyone's wishing to speak to this matter, please call 905-815-6095.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, my name is Olu Oyelade. I'm representing the owners of 2449 Meadowwood. And then we're seeking just a single variance to build a new two-story detached building on the lot, whereas the current maximum permitted square footage is 41%. We are seeking to build 44.72% to be consistent with the character of the buildings generally within the neighborhood and to provide the homeowners the appropriate size of home to be built. We have seen the reports of the staff recommending that this is a minor variance and should be approved. And I've come here tonight to also seek the approval of the committee to approve the same variance application. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any members, any questions for the applicant? I see none. Madam Secretary Treasurer, has anyone called in on this matter?
We've had no calls and no hands.
Good, thank you. I'll close the discussion and look for a motion. Mr. Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Based upon my review of the owner's application, site plan, building elevation, my visit, presentation by the owner's consultant, and the planning staff report, I am satisfied that a variance is minor in nature and conforms to the 4 tests under the Planning Act. I put forth a motion that the application is applied for be approved, subject to the condition that the dwelling be constructed in general accordance with the submitted site plan and elevation drawings dated June 16th, 2025, and that the approval expires 2 years from the date of the decision. The building permit not being issued for the proposed construction.
Thank you, Mr. Dickey. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor of the motion to approve? That is unanimous. Your application's been approved, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Moving on to our final application of the night, A103 at 2433 Hickson Street. Good evening, Mr. Don.
Yes, Joe Dome, 133 Torresdale Avenue, agent for the owner. The owner would like to build a new 2-story dwelling. There are 4 variances proposed. Residential floor area variance is requested at 45.75%. And the proposed dwelling has been designed with a focus on massing mitigation features, as can be seen on the site plan and elevation drawings. And this is accomplished by way of incorporating breakups in massing in the footprint, varying roof lines, and the use of different materials along the side main walls to ease the transition between neighboring dwellings. And it also complies with the bylaw for all setbacks. We understand that each application is considered on its own merits, and I will note that 214 Cherry Hill on item 6.4 is the dwelling adjacent to the subject property on the east side. That was requesting a 2-story massing and taller roof lines. Similarly, 2 dwellings away at 2441 Hickson Street was approved last year for similar floor area, slightly less, but with a 2-story taller roof line. And the application that we actually just heard, 2449 Meadowood Crescent, is located just on the next street to the southwest of the subject property. For variance number 3, to increase the maximum lot coverage to 36.8%, this can be attributed to the covered front porch and covered rear patio. These features are 1-story in nature and do not add a negative massing impact. Variance number 4 refers to proposed height to 9.38 meters, which is caused by a difference between the established grade and the grade at the front. Excuse me, as can be seen on the elevation drawings. The dwelling height would appear to comply with the bylaw from the streetscape, and again, the varying roof lines do help to minimize impact. Variance number 1 is to increase the maximum total floor area for the private garage, 47.87 square meters. It's a small increase at the back of the garage for storage space and does not add negative massing to the front of the dwelling. We had submitted a pre-consultation application, have had discussions with staff. Planning staff have no concerns with the application as per the staff report. And overall, we feel the application is reasonable and minor in nature, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions for the applicant? Mr. Dickey.
Going to make a comment. Going after 4 variances is usually a red flag to me. I do admit that your variances are, to a large degree, extremely minor. So I just sort of to say to you, in the future, really work on not coming with that many variants.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary Treasurer, has anyone called in on this matter?
We've had no calls and no hands.
Okay, thank you. I will close the discussion and entertain a motion. Ms. Price.
Okay. Taking into consideration my site visit, the submissions of the agent and planning staff, I agree with the planning staff that the application is minor in nature and is in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The single-story elements, the various projections and variation in roof form help to make the proposed development compatible with the streetscape. In conclusion, I believe the four tests of the Planning Act have been met and the variances be approved subject to the following conditions. The dwelling being constructed in general accordance with the submitted site plan and elevation drawings dated June 2nd, 2025, and that the approval expires 2 years from the date of the decision if a building permit has not been issued for the proposed construction.
Thank you. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor of the motion to approve? That is unanimous. Your application has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
You as well.
That concludes the items for tonight. The confirmation of the minutes of July 9th. Ms. Price, thank you. And a motion to adjourn. Mr. Dickey, thank you. We are adjourned at 8:36.